Fawziyah Javid and her husband, Kashif Anwar, went to Edinburgh, Scotland for an alleged honeymoon. But Kashif had a different agenda for that trip. He wasn't going to let Fawziyah leave the marriage. Instead, Fawziyah was pushed off a cliff. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk about real crimes and real people. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and press that like button. This is the demise of Fawziyah Javid. Wanna know what happened? Let's get started. Fawziyah Javid was born on September 4th. She was from Pudsey, Yorkshire. Fawziyah was described as outgoing and sociable. She was an employment law lawyer. She was financially secure. She earned a good salary. Fawziyah was involved in several charities. She was afraid of heights. Fawziyah met a man named Kashif Anwar, whom she was going to marry. Fawziyah was looking forward for married life, but Kashif seemed possessive and hot-tempered. On one occasion, when the two were going to get rings, Kashif got angry when he was told to put his seatbelt. He started shouting, swearing, and screaming. He later apologized, saying he was stressed about exams. Fawziyah married Kashif in December 2020. A year later, one of them would be dead. Even though Fawziyah was looking forward to married life was a nightmare. Kashif showed who he really was. Horrible, abusive, controlling, manipulative, aggressive, and violent towards Fawziyah. Fawziyah's mother became worried about her daughter's marriage a couple months after the couple's wedding. There was something wrong, but she didn't tell us immediately. And when she did tell us, she would always start the sentence off, "I don't want you to worry." During their marriage, Kashif accessed Fawziyah's online bank account while she slept. He withdrew £12,000. He put it in his bank account and told her he had stolen the money. There were also moments of joy. Fawziyah became pregnant, but joy was short-lived. Even during pregnancy, Kashif was abusive. According to a midwife, a patient had overheard a conversation between Fawziyah and Kashif. Kashif told Fawziyah, "If you died during childbirth, that would be okay. I would be free." Ending the marriage was going through Fawziyah's mind, but he used to tell her, "We don't have divorces in our family. We don't divorce. We stay in marriages no matter what." Fawziyah went to the police and told them about the abuse. She revealed Kashif held a pillow over her face and pushed it repeatedly. She was bleeding and unconscious after struggling with him. The police recorded Fawziyah's statements regarding the abuse she suffered at the hands of her husband. But Fawziyah asked them not to pursue the investigations because she was afraid of Kashif's reaction. However, she told them to keep the recordings in case it was needed in the near future. And it was. Fawziyah told her mother she was planning to leave the marriage after the trip she and Kashif were going to take to Edinburgh, Scotland in September 2021. Her mother was worried and told her to text "I feel like cream cakes" if she felt in danger. Fawziyah and Kashif left to Edinburgh and checked into the Residence Inn for a 4-night stay. On September 2nd, Fawziyah and Kashif went to Holyrood Park, Arthur's Seat, where Kashif pushed Fawziyah off the cliff. Miraculously, she survived the fall, and she still managed to tell those who came to her rescue Kashif was the one who pushed her. Despite all efforts, Fawziyah Javid's injuries were far too severe. She and her unborn child passed away. Fawziyah was 31 years old and 17 weeks pregnant. Kashif Anwar was accused of murdering Fawziyah. He was also accused of acting in a threatening and abusive way towards his wife at a hotel in Edinburgh the day before the murder. Kashif denied all charges. During trial, witnesses were able to state their experiences of what they saw and heard on September 2nd, 2021. One witness heard rocks falling and a woman scream. She called 999 and then she heard a name being shouted. She was walking on Arthur's seat. She was approached by Kashif Anwar, who looked like he was panicking. Kashif told the witness his wife had fallen and he couldn't see her. They both went back down Arthur's seat and tried to find Fawziyah. They found her, and Fawziyah asked the witness if she was going to be okay, if her baby was going to be okay. The witness said yes, and that emergency services went on their way. Fawziyah was scared and asked the witness to not let her husband near her. He was the one who had pushed her. When officers arrived, one of them asked Fawziyah what had happened. She said Kashif had pushed her because she wanted to end the marriage. The officer asked if she had got in touch with the police because of him. Fawziyah said she did, back in Leeds. Fawziyah also asked the officer to keep her away from Kashif. She kept asking for water and if she was going to die, if the baby was going to die. Firefighters noticed Fawziyah wasn't in a good state. She was slipping in and out of consciousness. Fawziyah became unresponsive. Emergency responders performed CPR, and despite all efforts, she was pronounced dead at 10:58 p.m. A forensic pathologist gave statement to the court. Fawziyah fell between 40 and 50 feet. She died from complications of multiple injuries. Fawziyah's injuries were detailed with the help of a 3D model. During trial, court heard the recordings Fawziyah had done previously, detailing the abuse she suffered at the hands of Kashif. There were also recordings of Kashif. In one of the recordings, you could hear Kashif telling Fawziyah she would never get her belongings back if she left him. In another recording, one could hear Kashif saying, "Don't challenge me, do not be that British woman." A witness told CCTV footage showed two people. A man was blocking the path of Fawziyah. She was trying to get away from him, and he was being aggressive towards her. Fawziyah was being pulled. She later found Fawziyah speaking to another woman and gave her her phone number. Fawziyah appeared upset and frightened and told her the man blocking her path was her husband. A car passed by and Fawziyah said it was her father-in-law. During trial, Fawziyah's family learned the extent of Kashif's controlling and violent behavior.
That's the case with a lot of these type of men. Then once you're married and you live with that person, you start finding out their true colors and the mask comes off.
On April 6, 2023, Kashif Anwar was found guilty of killing Fawziyah. He was acquitted of behaving in a threatening and abusive way towards his wife at a hotel the day before her murder. CCTV footage showed the two of them arm in arm while walking from St. Andrew's Square to the park next to the Scottish Parliament. Kashif Anwar was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum sentence of 20 years. For Fawziyah's family, there was no justice, no closure.
It makes no difference to our pain because we've got the life sentence. This pain and grief is for life. And there's no closure and there's no justice, even if they brought back hanging and they hanged him. The fact is we haven't got Fawziyah here. He has taken that, he has destroyed our lives and our world. And no sentence is ever going to change that. The fact remains, she's not here. And has taken her life and the baby's life. We had to go through this procedure, but it has not changed our pain and our grief. It's as raw as the day it happened.
Fawziyah's family believe Kashif's abusive behavior was enabled and not challenged by his parents. His family have refused to return Fawziyah's belongings to her family. I believe his family knew what his true intentions for the trip really were. Allegedly, Yasmin, Fawziyah's mother, states she unlikely will ever return to Edinburgh again.
Fawziyah was my only child. She was a very special person. He has destroyed so many lives and the ripple effect is absolutely enormous. He has destroyed our lives on an unimaginable scale.